This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
Today, we've got 4 more teams taking the stage to forge their path to Masters Shanghai and, of course, Champions in Seoul. Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 2 of VCT Americas Super Week. We're coming to you live from the Riot Games Arena here in Los Angeles. Hey!
Why is he not that?
Yeah, what you don't see is the plushies just got slammed to the floor.
Oh my
That's so
goodness.
sad.
Uber here on the desk today, Ender, Mimi, and Athena off to a roaring start, of course. Let's talk yesterday real quick because, again, we were strapped in for some very scrappy gameplay, I think. That was, our expectations were definitely set for, a really back and forth day. But while we have a look at our standings, let's chat on what we saw yesterday. Alpha and Omega group, of course, one group not looking nearly as sharp as the other.
Yeah, I mean, first things first, Sentinels came back, wiped their hands, made it easy. It was the second series that was so crazy between C9 and Loud. That was a bloodbath. Bind was so back and forth that just barely slipped away from C9.
But C9 is 3-0 now. They legitimately have a chance here to make a flawless season. If they can finish this off strong, if they can end at the top of their group, that means in playoffs, they would be 1 game away from making it to Shanghai, which is insane to think about, considering how low the expectations were for this team at the beginning of the season.
I mean, for me specifically, I did not think C9 would be in this position, but I knew that it was going to be up to kind of Oxy being consistent, and he's proven himself to be more than consistent, taking a lot of aim duels that his full team has been supportive of, and just watching C9 play yesterday, I mean, they deserve to be here.
Yeah, that team looks energized, revitalized, I think it's safe to say, and they're basically already locked for playoffs now. It's a matter of just where they get seated and how far they can go. But of course, we've got 4 more other teams to put under the microscope. Let's see what's on the docket for today. First up, and stick with me here, an undefeated crew are taking on the yet winless Evil Geniuses. And then later, that's right, you get your banger. Demon 1 and Aspas face off as NRG goes up against Leviathan. That game is one to get excited about, for sure.
I mean, for sure, that's the duelist face-off, but I'll raise you one. We've got the lurking face-off in Series 1. We've got Kesnet versus Apoth. It doesn't get better than that.
Game 2 might be better.
Okay,
that being said, you're selling
comparable.
But match 1 is, I think, a sleeper good game. If Crew can win this, which I think they're pretty favored to do so, they would be another team that no one thought would be possible, going on a flawless run thus far.
Don't sleep on EG. I promise they're not as rough as they look. They're not great, but they're getting there. And honestly, Apoth, he sold me, so I'm excited for that.
I mean, Potter's been talking some ish out there on social media, so we're looking forward to seeing EG hit the ground running. But before we get into today's first match, I want to take a moment and settle the age-old debate. Does pineapple belong on pizza? Yes, there is a right answer. And we asked our pros to weigh in with their opinions.
No, pineapple on the pizza. No, I don't like.
I enjoy pineapple on pizza. It used to be my first choice, like pineapple and pepperoni, but like slowly it's getting out my palate. But I can enjoy it anytime. But pineapple and like honey and pepperoni, I kill it. I kill it.
I'm a fan, but it's a specific occasion. I'm not just ordering pizza. I'm like, yo, I need pineapple on that.
I would never put pineapple on my pizza, but I don't really like fruit that much.
I don't think pineapple on just plain pizza goes good, but as long as it has a salt component like pepperoni, that's why Hawaiian pizza works kind of well. It's all right, I guess.
Lo he probado como una vez. Creo que no ni me gusta ni me disgusta, pero tampoco puede ser un hit. Así que acepto para toda la gente que come con piña en las pizzas.
I wouldn't order it myself personally, but if it's there, it's not a deal breaker. Onions or mushrooms, that's a deal breaker for me. Those are a no-go. But pineapple is okay.
I personally like pineapple on pizza.
Solo que aqui pizza, eu não gosto. Mas eu gosto de pizza doce. Eu sei que o Brasil tem pizza doce. Quando eu cheguei no Brasil eu não gostava. Eu falei, não gostava. Só que nunca tinha testado e quando testei gostei muito, por exemplo. Aquele com Nutella e morango, muito bom. Só que a abacaxi não, com pizza não gosto.
Not terrible, but not amazing, so we'll allow it.
I'm more of just a cheese or pepperoni pizza guy, so I don't mess around with the pineapple.
I've been saying it even before it was a thing. I think it's very good.
Low key, I might get some hate, but I think pineapple on pizza is a valid choice.
Es un horror.
No me gusta para nada.
I never tried pineapple in the pizza, but if it's a pizza that is Nutella and strawberry, it's okay. But pineapple I never tried.
Cê é louco, não. Abacaxi na pizza, isso aí não... Eu nunca vi isso na minha vida, pra começar. Nunca vi abacaxi na pizza. E tem gente que come pizza com ketchup também. Isso aí mano, isso é loucura. Gente maluca.
Sorry, I'm so surprised. I mean, maybe it's a generational thing, but so many people against pineapple on pizza. That tartness is a very important additive, I think, to the overall flavor. Mina, come on, you're with me. Maybe?
I like pineapple on pizza.
No, you're not.
Sorry, I'm so caught up on the Nutella and strawberry. That was not part of the question at all. And Asma's like, yeah, dessert pizza.
That's just a crepe.
No,
just a flat crepe.
But Asma saying he wants pineapple on the Nutella pizza is like...
That's
okay.
No, he said he likes sweet pizza.
Okay.
But he doesn't want
Yeah, dessert pizza's like... It's beyond the scope of this discussion, dessert pizza. Anyway, let's get into today's first matchup. Let's talk about Karuk here because they went from a winless stage in 2023 to a beautiful start here in stage 1. They're 2-0. In fairness, with wins over MIBR and Furia. Now, I know the meme, they're going on a run, but it's safe to say their opponents maybe are not exactly tabletoppers yet.
I mean, sure, you know, I think Crew, they were saving all their wins for this year, and that's a good sign for them, at least for now. I will say what I have liked from them especially has been their mid-rounding and also seeing the difference between week 1 and week 2, because week 1 it was all about Kesnet finding those openings in Kickoff especially as well, and that was how they played their mid-rounds out off of that. Last week, he was grouped with the team, and they were showing a lot more different ideas around that.
Yeah, I mean, the really, really big thing is not only Kesnet was popping off, but it also felt like Heat was popping off, really had kind of his show of his support, the way that he was playing initiators. Beautiful. I think genuinely pulled the team together. And then Klaus as well. Like last week, he had an insane showing. And I feel like all these players are kind of stepping up. And I feel like we didn't necessarily see a lot of these things happening last time. But now they're kind of... Everything's looking great.
Yeah, and for Kesnet, he's still popping off, but he's doing it in a lot different ways. Last season, it felt like it was always defined by his lurking jet. But when it was the LCQ run, so much of it was built around his raise, how strong he is on that agent, and kind of these faster ideas. I think Crew has given a lot more variety into this season, building some comps to set him up on the raise, but still throwing in a map or two where they're going for that older, lurking style. I think Klaus is giving him the freedom he needs to kind of hit both strengths for this player.
I like how they make use of initiators defensively, right? It's always like fight, pull back, re-clear with util, fight again.
They're so proactive. Like every time you see Kesnet on the map, he has like an entourage of 2 players with him, and they're constantly moving on that defense.
It's like he's hitting the dog sled, right? And his whole team is like, march, let's go. Let's head to the other side. Let's go there real quick. So does Crew then, looking at their road forward, do they have a shot of making it into playoffs? Because here's what lies ahead for them now. A couple bogeys amongst those, but hey, 3 wins, right? 3 wins is what we're looking for.
I mean, they've got the minimum amount required, right? So that's a good start. I think EG, this match is the must-win, though, because Loud, although they have looked weaker, that team is going to be strong. 100 Thieves, Lev also looking better. So their sort of strength of schedule looks like it ramps up, especially in those last 3 games. So winning this one is critical to them.
But I think there is a possibility for an upset. This is a team who we know how close everyone in our league is, could get one of those games. But if they don't have the cushion of winning today, that's when it starts to look like you're relying on numbers, you're relying on a miracle. If they win today, there is a real, honest, and probable chance that this team could make playoffs.
I mean, sorry, one thing I was just talking about too is that they're played the 2, I think, in my opinion, weakest teams going into it. And they're kind of starting slow, which is good for them because they're building up that confidence going into these next few weeks. And so now when they do have to face off against Loud, I do think they have a genuine good chance, especially if they win today against EG, because they have that momentum going into it.
And the confidence is what was lacking last year when they lost 10 games in a row.
Yeah, and they're absolutely bringing with that now. It's a great way to get them started. Let's head over, though, to Elizabeth, because she took the time to get a quick word with the team's new IGL, Klaus.
Yes, I see. Klaus, how are you? Simple question for you. How has it been IGLing for the team?
O sea, bien. Yo creo que fue un cambio bastante bueno el equipo que yo pasé a ser el IGL de nuevo. Después de mucho tiempo que no estaba como en ese rol. Creo que ahora volví de una mejor forma y con nuevas cosas en el rol.
Says it's been a good drastic change to what's been going on, but it's been going well so far. So you can.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. I got to get back to work, so.
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth, for taking
What
the time
job
and your
is she
busy
doing?
work. I don't know.
I love the little scooch on
Dominating
the
the Excel spreadsheet.
Do you think she like rolled that chair in the door, or she was sitting there for a while and then they just didn't ask what she was doing there? Like, what's the context of that
You
interview?
look like you're supposed to be there. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're in a team
I
dugout
bet she
or
rolled all the way through the halls
If she had a
of Riot.
high-vis vest, she could walk in anywhere.
Clipboard, tap it a couple times. All right.
Bring a ladder, you can see the world.
So Kesnet.
Don't do that.
As
So
we move
Kesnet,
on.
yeah,
Anyway,
segue.
Kesnet.
Beautiful.
Great conversation. Segue here. It's always been a bit of a win condition for this team, but this year, like we sort of discussed, he's doing things a little bit differently. We kind of talked about that signature style. He still has a signature style, but he's changed it up a lot here. He says that he's dealt with a lot of personal frustrations, and now that, now he feels like it's not about that MVP Kesnet, but a Kesnet that plays for his teammates. Is this what we're seeing from them? Do you feel like that's being manifested in the server?
I think we are. And I think one of the big reasons we're able to see Kesnet take a step back on some of these maps and kind of have a little bit more variety, have some of that weight off his shoulders, is because of Heat. This guy has come into the roster, has picked up so many of the duties, being a second entry, fragging with the team, and also just being that second man to Kesnet, helping set him up for all these different ideas. That's been working super well. But also, it's just been, I think, with this team building confidence, Kesnet being more willing to kind of change things up.
I mean, look, I'm all with you that Heat has been looking very good so far, but like, this is cap. Kesnet is still owning frauds out there. Like, I don't know, like, crew are still competing at a high level because he is still absolutely farming.
Yeah.
And I think the playstyle changed a little bit last week, where it wasn't just him going off on an island and getting kills on his own. He was execing with the team, and that was the style. But to say it's not about, like, still supporting Kesnet and putting him in front lines, like, that's his role, and he is so incredibly good at it.
Well, I think it absolutely is still that, but what it is it's not only that now, is what I'm getting at with crew, right? Like, that's still the primary thing they're building around. That's why they're putting all the utility into this guy. But I think they have a lot more solid ideas. Last year, they were playing the most basic comps, the most basic ideas. He was lurking around. It was very much the same stuff, playing the super fundamentals. Here, they're a lot more willing to try new ideas on top of those basics.
Yeah, and it feels like he has the full confidence to also call for those ideas, to call for like more aggressive plays, more riskier plays that I feel like they didn't really do before. And we talked about confidence, and I feel like they've brought that in by having this kind of strong together mentality. I can't believe I'm about to say it's for a second time so far, but monkey together strong. It feels like
together strong, true.
Together strong.
He's also doing a lot of their defensive calling
That's
now
right.
as well, and helping on that endeavor with Klaus. So I'm sure that gives him a lot of that proactivity that we're talking about.
Yeah, like he's part of the strong side of the map in the early phases, right, where they do sort of take those fights.
Yeah, and what I'm getting from him is less of he's taking a step back, and what I'm feeling is with him saying he doesn't have to be the MVP anymore, is he trusts his teammate behind him. That is what I think the shift is. It's not like a different Kesnet, a new Kesnet all of a sudden. This is a Kesnet now that believes in the players behind him and is playing very well
It's
alongside
Kesnet and friends, but he's like, they're best buds now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right, more united, on the same page perhaps. Let's move on though and talk about Evil Geniuses, because they started out the year pretty well, like with that win over G2 at Kickoff, but lately it's been a little bit more of a struggle, right? I think that Cloud9 game is one that's well worth taking a close look at, because they win Lotus, right, which is a pretty big deal against that squad. And then they completely fell off in the rest of the series.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they got farmed a little bit by Oxy, and I also think they just really struggled to adapt to what C9 was actually doing to them. On Lotus, I think they were sort of carried a lot by Apoth's lurking on that first attacking side of the map, but after that, it was just so dead from EG, it felt.
Yeah, I felt like Apoth played a very high-risk, low-reward game at the end of that series, but at the beginning of the series, he's kind of...
Hello? Are you missing what's happening
What's
here?
on your head?
Are you missing what's happening in front of your very eyes? I don't want to hear about it.
You okay?
It's not relevant. They'll
Can you
never tell you. They'll never tell you the truth of what's actually happening. They'll only tell you what they've been told.
Did you put that on there at the start of the show?
But I'll tell you the truth. Follow me. Ignore them, because I've been kept awake, uncovering the deepest of conspiracies. And I have made a startling discovery. Let me explain, okay? In 2023, Evil Geniuses, they weren't looking so good. It started off, they only got a single win at lock-in, and then they fell out, they got eliminated, and they struggled. At the beginning of the season, not looking good, until week 3! And who did they play in week 3? It was Crew! A 2-1 victory that started off a cascading chain of events that ended in shaking the entire sport. What year is it now? What year is it now? It's 2024. And Evil Geniuses have won one game in the opening tournament of Kickoff. They've struggled. In the beginnings of this week, who do they face? Week 3. It's Crew again, our most delightful of the pink teams. And what is going to happen here? Well, we all know where this is headed, don't we? It's a copy of the script. We're going to end up with fraud. Subbing in the assistant coach, coming in as a player for MIBR, getting knife kills to send Evil Geniuses to a playoff spot. They're gonna sign Son of Ka, for God's sake. They're gonna go to the finals of Shanghai. It's happening. I'm telling you, believe me, it's happening. It's happening. I'm telling you, they'll never believe. They'll never let me tell you the truth. But I swear to you, I swear, believe me.
Well, I'm convinced. Fair enough. Thanks, Josh. Let's send it back over to Elizabeth.
Just move on.
I mean, he makes a pretty convincing...
No, he doesn't!
No, he doesn't!
Who's Son of Ka? They sound kind of legit.
They're good.
My ancestors.
But they're not so...
He had a literal tinfoil hat on.
I like the Anubis in the background. That was...
No.
What?
No.
I mean, he had a tinfoil hat on too. No one gave the little
No.
bit. Anyway, we're going to head back and hear from Elizabeth talking to EG's Derek, and I'll get some therapy. All right.
Derek, can I have a word with you really quickly? Thank you. Love. You want me to hold this for you?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Okay. So the kind of the narrative with EG is that y'all have been struggling just a little bit right now. So what have you been working on for Super Week?
I think we have a problem with slow starts right now. So this week we just really took our time to work on our mental. And I mean, if we do start slow, just adapting a little bit faster. Yeah.
Well, best of luck.
Thank you.
So like we've kind of already hinted, there was a bright spot for EG last week, or so we've said, in Apoth, who was very aggressive on these lurks in the Sentinel role. You kind of mentioned it though, Mina, it's like a high risk, low reward at times, right? This playstyle seems extremely volatile, but Apoth was able to find some success.
Yeah, I mean, when you're going into games like these, you do want to be confident and take those winning plays that you feel like this could win you around, this could turn the round over. But when time and time again, it kind of falls and you kind of lose the round because your lurker is just not doing it right, like it feels kind of rough. And I feel like Apoth does play that high risk, high reward game, but the last 2 series of the last game just made it look like it was a low reward.
Did you feel like it was a consistent problem in the series? Because I thought on Lotus in their first map that it was really good, and I thought that he shifted. It's like the first 6 rounds he was doing a ton of aggro B lurking, and then it turned into Nature doing a lot of A lurks after he started getting found out.
Yeah, exactly. No, I 100% agree. I think the first map, it looked really, really good. It felt like they actually knew how to kind of rotate off of this information. They were able to get these deep lines and actually have really good attacks, really good defenses. But then the next 2 maps, it felt like their plan just fell apart. And Apoth then also losing a lot of his life kind of early on in the rounds made them lose a lot of their options.
Is it a timing issue then for him, or what? Because you talk about doing it right. Like, what is that supposed to look like?
I feel like it's just he's doing these same ideas really consistently. Yeah. And like we heard from Derek in that interview, the team has been a little bit slow to adapt, right? They're coming in with a solid initial idea, executing on it for a few rounds, and then that change-up is happening. And what was happening is there was players set towards that B side of Lotus, flushing him out in a lot of these rounds.
But also I think the biggest problem for EG, it was on split with the lurking, because every round, they were putting their Viper Wall and their Viper Orb on the B site. So Apoth, his job was to lurk on the Cypher through A site, but you only have cages there. So when you pop those cages, you only have one cycle where you can step up into that ramp space and get flushed out, as opposed to having the Viper Wall there.
Diagonal wall.
Yeah, where you can reactivate.
And every round, their opponent was just sitting on the other side of the cages, waiting for them to drop, and then flashing in and going and killing that lurk set.
Yeah, I feel like when you're on the opposite team and you know Apoth is there, at some point you're just like, we can just re-clear this guy. We know he's alone every single round, and it just felt like that.
But the real trouble was that they never changed that wall setup. They weren't adjusting how they were playing that lurk.
And that's why I think it was less of an Apoth-specific issue of like knowing how to find the timings, and much more of an overall game plan, right? And it is an Apoth issue if you are trying to lurk into that A space consistently and you don't have the support of something like a Viper. What are you talking about?
I love
what? It's just real. It's just real. Put the Viper Wall over there.
So like genuinely offended by that. Now, we can't forget, of course, about George Mo, the remaining player from last year's championship roster with Evil Geniuses. And Doug actually had a chance to sit down with the EG duelist, as well as Aspas, to talk about donuts and their road to the big stage. Check out this clip from our latest Common Ground.
What's up, my dog?
What's up, my bro?
How is doing?
Hey, man, I seen you, bro. You wanna get some donuts?
Yeah, let's go.
Get some donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Really good to see you.
Good, bro. How are you, man?
Good
to see you,
man.
man.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Joe, I know that donuts and donut shop is something very special. It's something you grew up around a lot, and I've got 2 world champions hanging out with me, so I had Phonix make some Valorant-themed donuts. They smell incredible. Let's see what you guys think.
No walk, they ain't never took walk, no polo, never drinking that act. Came in, sweat the game like a storm with flow, take did that. So don't ask about the group, he gone, we gone, young, it can't come back. I'ma make sure mama straight, especially mama take. I can't kick it with a fake, and I won't sleep with the snakes. I'd rather eat with the grapes. I wanted peace, but I can't. I gotta get some straight. Hold on, wait,
And you can check out the full interview on our YouTube channel. Generally a fantastic and really candid conversation between 2 of the greats of the game. And, of course, our good friend Doug over there getting
He's
involved
also
with them.
great at the game.
Yeah, OK.
Not as great.
I was going to say, I mean, what is your standard there? Like, what's your sliding scale like for greatness in Valorant? That really does beg the question.
You know what?
Plead the fifth?
Yeah, how much you love tens.
Speak to his attorney.
Speak to my attorney.
Sure. We'll get into that later. Now, before we get into today's first match, we're going to play a cutthroat game that basically requires us to pander incessantly to you in chat if we want to win. It's called Twitch Chat Survival. Now, here's how it's going to go down. We've got 2 teams. Ender and Athena will be Team Alpha. Mimi and I will be Team Omega.
Stop.
Stop. So we'll debate a topic, and Twitch Chat, you are going to decide the winner. With great power comes great responsibility. Make sure you pick us. The loser is out, and the winning team will then get split in 2 to debate once more. And there's a prize on the line as well. We'll get onto that in just a second. But you guys can vote in Twitch Chat. First topic, pretty straightforward. Who will win, or this team rather, will win America's Stage 1? Ender and Athena, you've gone with Sentinels.
Yeah. Duh.
Obviously.
They literally won Kickoff. They literally won Masters.
They have already won.
Why would they not win?
Also, they have 10s.
They have 10s. Okay. And also on a new patch, like, who do you want to be playing a new agent, like a Clove perhaps? Like, even if Clove comes into the meta and we see more of it, like, 10's gonna be fine.
He is saying every map, like, who's going to play Clove? He's like, no one.
Well, no one's going to play Clove, but if he did.
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Yep.
Yeah, and John QT.
Okay.
Yeah. Hear me out.
Zelsis.
Yeah. I'll do you one better.
Can you at least try?
Saucy.
Can you try to Socratic?
They're literally the best team. They had 1 bad game versus Lev, but we literally know they're going to win.
Ranked, he's not even Radiant.
But who cares?
You don't need
Neither is Doug, and he's great.
Okay. Yeah. Not sure I'm not sold on this all that effectively.
Because I feel like it would have been really easy to sell.
It's not about us. It's not about us. It's about Twitch.
You don't have to sell Sentinels. They sell themselves.
Okay. All right. Well, myself and Mimi. Yeah, so your time's right now. You basically use most of it. Myself and Mimi, our pitch is for NRG. Let's talk NRG and why they are going to win Stage 1.
Okay, this is a team with one of the most experienced cores we have in the game. These guys have been winning for years. And you now bring in the championship duo from last year of Ethan and Demon 1. They had a slower start into Kickoff, but thus far in Stage 1, they have looked great. They're yet to lose a match. Demon 1 looks back in peak form. Ethan is integrated into this roster incredibly well, and new players on new roles are stepping up. Demon 1 now playing the Raze. Victor on the full-time Sentinel going crazy on the lurks. They're a team with a ton of upward mobility, and I don't know if they'll go out and win Shanghai, but I think they have a chance to win.
We haven't talked about Marv, by the way. Unbelievable.
Imagine having to convince the players and the...
How they doing Kickoff? How they doing Kickoff?
Just say the player names.
Say some player names.
They literally just said player names, but said it was more energy than us.
Crashies. Marv.
Okay.
Yeah, do some buzzwords like Mimi threw in. Like, they're so integrated into the roster. What does it mean?
You just said words of team player.
Yeah, at least I didn't pretend. I didn't pretend like
there's no justification. Okay.
Well, yelling at us.
There it is. Twitch chat. Let's hear who you think won, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
It's just so easy.
Sentinels are in it. To be fair.
I'll give you guys donuts.
She won't give you donuts.
I'll give you guys donuts.
These donuts are on the line here. We'll split the spoils of war. Mimi, I think we've been host.
You've actually just lost.
We've been host. Okay. Well,
you made fun of Sentinels, and that's not okay.
But here's the thing.
You're wearing Sentinels colors.
Like a true person who wears a suit to their history class, I chose the losing position and I tried to argue it well.
Like
You're even wearing Sentinels colors!
Like a true person who wears the word fashion on their jacket.
He's
I was ready
fashionable.
to let Mimi rip all on you guys. I thought it was pretty good. Right, chat? You weren't convinced? That's fine. It's time for our final topic now. The members of Team Alpha must argue amongst themselves. Blank is the most underrated player in the league. Ender, I'll give you a couple seconds.
Do we have to assign them a player or do they get to
This
pick?
is good.
They get to pick Americas. Americas.
Ooh, this is good.
It's gotta be
underrated
Yet.
player in the league.
Yes, not in America! Wow, actually.
Mina, are you ready?
Your timer has begun.
I think I have a good answer for this.
Go.
I think I
All right,
have a good
Mina
answer.
first, go.
1 minute. All right, ready? Heat. Heat has been playing phenomenally. I think he's what this team needed for Crew to go crazy. And the only reason I'm saying that is because he performed on KO, he performed on Gecko, he performed on Fade. It's not that often you get a really good info initiator, flash initiator, combo flex player that is that insane.
That's a lot of buttons.
And mechanically, he is goated. He did really, really good. And I just think overall his performance
What does goated
speaks
mean?
for itself.
Greatest of all time?
Shoot, kill, head.
That's an interesting point. What happened on MIBR last year?
He's better now, improved.
Reform.
Criticism.
All right, that's your minute. Ender,
All
you're
right.
up.
Here's mine, Moose, okay? C9, they're coming in hot, and everyone's talking Oxy. If they're not talking about Oxy, they're talking about Bandit, the IGL. But Moose has joined this team, and now C9 are going on a run, right? While Oxy is off doing flashy things on one side of the map, Moose's sights are unbreakable. This guy is an absolute beast when locking down on its own. He also plays great contains on attack. He's not always going in on the lurch. Oh, whoa, we're in here right now. Moose, he is the guy for C9. Rooney also coming in and looking very nice.
Who's more crazed? Christy now or Josh?
I mean, it's absolutely
it's
manic.
close call, honestly.
All right, Twitch chat, you can get your votes in. Remember, it is between, of course, Moose and Heat for the most underrated player in the league. We will know who managed to win here. I mean, I'm kind of
Why are
glad
you
I
holding
got
that coffee cup? Is there any coffee in there?
No.
Fraud. Fraud.
Look at those grippers go to work.
You know, what can I say? Look, the Moose is on the loose, baby!
All right, give him the donuts.
I don't even want the donuts.
Well, you want them, so you have to trade them.
I'm gonna share the donuts. Oh, I'll take the keychain, but I'll share the donuts with all of you.
Okay, we are minutes away from Crew and EG taking to the stage, so let's send it over to our coaches for map select.
Hi guys, welcome. As you know, teams were decided to be a coin flip. EG is going to be Team A and Crew is going to be Team B. EG, you will have first map ban.
Ban split.
EG ban split. Crew, what would you like to ban?
We ban bind.
Crew ban bind. And what map would you like to pick?
Pick Lotus.
EG pick Lotus. And would you like attack or defense?
Attack.
Crew pick attack. And what map would you like?
We pick Breeze.
Crew pick Breeze. And would you like attack or defense?
Attack.
EG pick attack. And you have one map ban.
Ban Ascent.
EG ban Ascent. And what would you like to ban, Crew?
We ban Sunset.
Crew ban Sunset. Decider map will be Icebox. And EG, you have side select.
Attack, please.
EG select attack. All right, best of luck today.
All right, so while we have some time here, we can maybe just bring the energy level down a smidgen. And let's talk about some of our predictions here, right? Because I think we've given a decent case for both of these teams and also a number of other topics that would be pretty poorly argued. But here, there's a lot of excitement about Crew. They're proactive on defense. They're getting a lot of value out of Kesnit. He's getting more involved. On the EG side, we have some questions. We liked Apoth, but it feels like Crew might be favoured here, at least at the
I think
outset.
Crew is favoured. And I'm going to predict them in this one, but I think people are underrating EG severely right now after their performance in the first 2 weeks.
Okay.
I think what Derek said in that interview, he said, we've had slow starts. Every one of the games we've been playing pretty much. We haven't been, getting into the game in time. That's true. But look at the rest of the maps. They're constantly losing pistol rounds. They're constantly relying on these Potter timeouts in the middle of games to come back into things. I think that's kind of inflated how bad their games look because of these slow starts. I think they've been slow to adapt, but have tended to adapt and eventually find the right idea in their games. I think that this is a team with time, if they can get a stronger start, can push a close game. And I think this will be a very close game today.
Timeouts, right? We got to believe in them. In the past, they've been extremely impactful.
Yeah, the issue for them is Potter's been having to use both their timeouts in the first half It's just a fact. You can't buzzer a fact.
Famously, they don't care about your feelings. So.
No, it's your turn.
Okay, so anyway, I think, I don't know, I think coming into it, I feel like EG, yes, maybe they are going to be able to get that faster start, but I also don't feel like they're going to win past Lotus. I feel like their Lotus is going to be good. They needed to pick that Lotus. They needed that first map. But I do think the last two maps are going to go towards Crew just because they're going to, like, keep it together.
All right, fair enough. There you have it.
2-1 EG, baby, I'm all in.
Let's get day 2 of Super Week started. Today, it's Crew versus Evil Geniuses and NRG versus Leviathan. VCT Americas starts right now.
¡Gente la Mori! ¡Tiene la clave! ¡Dejan el vuelo un tiro directo!
Runs through this one though. Rocket all the way through into C. He's around the world.
Yo siento que EG es un equipo bastante parecido como nosotros. Su planteamiento de juego es bastante agresivo como el nuestro. Y nada, va a estar bueno porque va a ser como quién va a ser más agresivo que el otro. Y nada, quién va a imponer su ritmo, eso se va a definir en ese partido.
También, pero Arcin que en el suelo. 1 para 1. La tiene el brasileño. ¡Claro, por parte de Hit! ¿Cómo la pone?
We've went against some teams that are kind of crazy. We just saw Oxy. He runs it down. He plays like that, so we're kind of ready for that for like Kesnet and stuff like that because I feel like they're very similar. They take a lot of duels.
Más, todos sus compañeros han caído, la tiene que jugar entonces 1 en contra de 2 con 7 puntos de vida, pero Kesnet va a cerrar otra ronda para Krubis.
Siento que, o sea, estamos preparados a eso, sabemos que no son un equipo convencional, que son un equipo que hacen cosas nuevas y vamos a tener que adaptarnos a esas cosas.
Riot Games Arena, let's get this Sunday started right and bring on our first team to the stage. Give it up for Evil Geniuses!
Y la verdad es que no sería una super semana sin la rosada. Que se escuche para Krubisa.
Work hard and play hard. Work hard and play. Work hard and play hard. Work hard and play. Work hard, play hard. Work hard, work hard and play hard. Work hard and play. Stand up, let me see you move. Stand up and then play. Stand up, let me see you move. Stand up, let me see you move. Oh yeah.
Well, if the annals of history are anything to go by, this is meant to be where Evil Geniuses take things up a gear. A slow start here in stage 1. They've set a slow start in many of their games, but now is where the rubber hits the road.
But if there's one strength for Crew, it's that they work hard and then play hard.
A lot of people have been saying this.
Keep saying this. No, but for EG, I think this is an incredibly important win. Getting this first win on the board would be massive for this squad. I think if they lose this match today, then they're looking at a tough strength of schedule for the rest of the season. But if they can take this home, this is their chance to gain confidence and maybe turn the season around.
EG literally plays Sentinels and NRG next, and they need 2 wins to have a chance of making playoffs.
Playoffs are unlikely, but if they lose every game this split, I mean, that is a brutal way to walk away from it.
I mean, they were literally just talking about fixing their mentals coming into it. Their mentality was one of their biggest beasts to kind of overcome. And if you lose this first game, this crew game, this pivotal game in this week, it's going to be so hard to pick yourself back up from that. Losing this game as well as trying to work on your mentality, like those are two beasts.
This map pause we sort of talked about, right? Lotus, Breeze, Icebox. Icebox is where EG had that real suffrage up against G2. 3-12. And the double controller setup, it was not a good look for them. They're hoping they don't get there.
They absolutely are. And good news for EG is we're starting it off on Lotus, where I think they did look their strongest here. Now, of course, crew are going to come in, and the first thing they're going to be looking for is those B walk-ups from APOF, right? Early in the half, that's what EG were conditioning, and crew will need to have answers both to that and also nature later in the half testing space out towards Rebel. I think EG, their attack looked good because of those lurks, and if crew can isolate them, they're going to do a way better job of dealing with EG's actual.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think going into this, crew's actual playstyle should be to punish the lurkers, and at that point, EG needs to have a separate game plan as to how to win these fights and how to take space without relying on specifically just APOF and specifically just any other player. It's going to be a rough one, but if EG do get away with this one, this might be the catalyst for them to kind of win the next one too.
One thing I want to see more on their defense is setting up some more of these kind of trap play ideas around the Cypher. It's the unique feature of their comp, and I think we saw some of that, splitting their Cypher across B and C, showing these heavier setups over towards A, but I think that agent bit gives you a lot of flexibility in setting up those trap plays, in playing very strong sides, but you lose out on the stall. So if crew's contacting up, getting space and popping on that Cypher site, it gets real scary.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Not expecting to see many changes here. Teams have not had a lot of time to actually adapt things game to game, though.
I want to see more from Giorgimo. He had his, I think, worst series I've ever seen in the debut. And he was fine in the second series, but he should be an all-star for this squad.
Going to see what EG ends up going with. And like you said, Ender, we're in the midst of Super Week here, and the discussion about APOF is important, right? You come into this map probably without a lockdown. You know, don't have that ability to really lean into those sites, and you have to create pressure in other ways.
But you do see APOF use those cages, especially aggressively on those lurks, to get them into more forward lines and cross over some space, especially in front of B. What I would like to see from crew on their defense is setting up mid-round reclears to flush out those lurkers. It's a little bit less all about the opening gambits that Lotus is usually about, and in countering EG, I'd like to see better mid-round
That's something they do, right?
Yeah, that is one thing I'm actually looking at Heat for, because as I said before, this guy is impeccable with his information, especially on this fade. He had a phenomenal performance last week, and I think he's going to be doing a really great job at finding out where that lurker is, using the fade util to figure out APOF, and after they kind of figure all that out, retaking the map space that they need.
When you're watching this game, the things to keep your eyes on is where EG are positioning their lurks in the mid-round, and then watching the minimap of how Heat and Kesnet are moving together. Because like you guys are saying, those are the two that are going to be super proactive on these reclears. If they're shutting down Nature and APOF, that's a winning position.
Two very different stories. EG looking for that elusive first win as the climb to playoffs begins, whereas crew are already halfway up the mountain. We're ready to jump into this game, so let's send it over to your casters. It's Brenton and Sideshow.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, big test here for EG going up against Crew Visa because they got some heavy hitters on that Crew team. They really do up on that stage. That's going to be a major, major obstacle for them to overcome just in terms of that firepower. And they really need to come out swinging with some new strategies, maybe, showing some of that old style of EG where they were really cooking up and forcing teams to adapt to them. I don't know what's on the cards for them. I don't know what's on the table, but Lotus is the staging ground which we're going to be heading into here for this series.
And the last time we saw EG here, I was fairly impressed. The problem is, as we go deeper into this map pool, it seems like it would favor Crew's firepower if they are the team that's hitting. So you need EG to hit the ground running. You need EG's composition to be working. And as to what you're saying about the creativity, EG have shown us quite a bit of creativity running APOF on the Cypher here. How much more do they have?
Where are you?
An early engagement there, just util being exchanged.
I'm just taking a look at EG's pistol round buy, and they've gone for no Prowlers and a Seize. So at some point, Jorg and Derek expect them to run some kind of Seize nade play. Is that going to be incorporated with a C retake setup? It doesn't look like it based on where APOF is currently standing. And he's going to be the player under pressure early on.
Kesnet eager take some of these fights. See him just walking up close to the choke, seeing if he can spot out any of that Cypher util, but a little bit too far away. Door flips.
Without the Prowlers on the pistol round, Crew's kind of contacty play as they work the map here is going to be more difficult for EG to find out information about.
Pressure might be applied to Derek if a B pivot is in order. For Crew though. Now starting to make a move as the door opens up through tree. Lovely paranoia. It's a good collection. A lot of targets there, Superman. First blood found. What more can you do with it? Corralled and corrected here. Out to the side, revealed entirely. Heat making a mockery of it. Just opens up the site almost single-handedly. Still to see he's with the vulnerable. That's quite so nice. Good. Cheeky plays here, but Kesnit still kicking, isn't he? He's with the big iron on his hip, and he's brought this one to a favorable scenario. The call is made to just double up and face and take the fight towards them, but Nature is the last one left, and he's just back to the major target here. The one he really did have to worry about, which is Kesnit.
And the pistol round set up as I think a lot of us were expecting the series to continue, which is Crew hitting some blinding shots to open things. Heat and Kesnit, top of the scoreboard for their team, everybody else on 0 frags. And Heat opens it with, I think, a missed haunt. I'm pretty sure based on that, the haunt was supposed to be going towards backside, but listen, might be completely wrong. And that's a cool little fake, because it did catch onto Superman, who was just nearby, and set Heat up for 2. Kesnit to finish with the Sheriff. Crew on the attack side, tons of rifles now. You know, already making this instantly into really deadly buy territory.
EG are aware of the slow starts to the beginning of some of these maps and series. Hello, not clear in the corner though. Patience on display by Nature. Not before Apop ends up going down, following up, but it has donated a rifle. Door opens up. Derek wants to take the fight to them with the nade rebounding straight off of Mound, but they are collecting the kills nevertheless. And really can't do too much more with the weaponry that's on display there from EG.
It's going to fall onto Superman to try to make something of this round, but Crew's awareness simply higher. After they made that small mistake at the beginning, but again, that's not actually going to matter because Klaus came into this round with only a Sheriff. They're doing that, I don't know, like Na'Vi kind of buy, where a lot of people buy up as much as they can, and then some people come in with pistols. Even if you lose one player, look at their bonus round buy afterwards. And Crew's economy is looking fantastic, and Kesnit and Heat are both almost up to ults. And they've just stacked all of their kills, basically, and the plants on top of that, into the heavy fraggers on the team.
It's precisely the players you want to be having those ults as well. Showstopper makes all the difference, Nightfall as well.
Yeah. These are huge ultimates to try to make game plans around.
And listen, Crew keep it relatively simple. When you're talking about the macro gameplay, look at this, all grouped up now, shoulder to shoulder. This wall's going to be dropping down. They're going to try and force a fight against them. Vulnerable applied, that's just from the snakebite, drop down, and again, there's just no game plans or protocols in place for EG to deal with it. And Crew will come at you with just a simple game plan. We're going to contact up behind this wall. We're going to throw a snakebite out. We're going to drop the wall. Force the fight up with the guns. Because that's really the key win cons for a team like Crew. They know that they can win out a lot of these duels.
As long as they can neutralize what EG are doing, which there was trying to post up Superman towards rubble. Yeah, like you said, they're happy to take the fights. And this is a disastrous beginning for EG. We were talking about the fact that they needed to hit the floor running. This is their map pick.
Yep.
Yes, Crew are on the favored attack side, but you still need to be getting some rounds up here.
No,
that ain't looking good.
Yeah,
that ain't looking good.
A fully flawless bonus round conversion from Crew, keeping all those rifles intact.
And like you said, the simplicity just working so well there for Crew. It's not even necessarily that they are setting up the win condition. They're trying to shut down EG's potential play of them having somebody posted towards rubble. They're happy to throw out that one snakebite and then drop the wall. What does it cost them? Almost nothing.
Yeah.
200 credits worth of utility used. But it neutralizes what EG are going for and sets up Crew for favored gunfights. They're now 3-0 up, headed even closer to enormous ultimates to snowball. And EG have got some work to do.
A thrifty round might just turn the tides for them. Big stack onto C Mound. EG were looking to see if they could contest it nice and early, but no players going to be walking towards them.
I'll tell you what, Brent, I think that Klaus's IGLing has been great in these kind of moments.
Yeah.
From what we've seen from him so far in stage 1, He's been great on Lotus at being able to find these gaps and avoid danger in these kind of situations. You know, now that I've said it, we'll see if it now bucks the trend. But generally speaking, I think no matter who you've had recently, if Klaus or Melzer doing the calling, it's been fairly solid on the attack side.
There's no rushing into things, you know, they spot out the trip. Apoth couldn't quite get a kill off of it. Slowly making the moves. Door opens up with a Prowler sent flying, pulling out the util, they're waiting out the snake bite. They've got a decision to be made. They want to commit the Nightfall now. It's going to put a dampener onto the round. ZG just really can't stand a chance here.
It's slow, it's controlled, they bleed out utility, and they even commit an ultimate here. Derek tries to make things a little more expensive, but Kesnit, he's getting heated. Yeah. And yes, it cost them the Nightfall, but I don't think they're really worried about that. You know, EG need kills to get ults, and they're not doing a great job of it so far. In fact, the closest player to an ultimate is Jorgamo, and he's got no kills. He's just been able to farm orbs.
One enemy remaining.
This upcoming round now is the real impetus, I think, for the overall half of EG. And even on the board right now.
You've got to expect EG here to be fighting heavy A rubble so that they create that space for Jorg to pick up the ult orb.
These nades. Again, Crew just plays so slow.
Once Crew see that Jorg has picked up the orb, you know, you can just pull up the scoreboard at any point here and notice that Jorg is playing on that side of the map. That might trigger this C exec. Now they've seen it. Showstopper online, they know that the Raze is on the opposite side of the map. Do they commit, or are they going to start to slow things down and take their time?
Slow down just because they're worried about a trip, but actually, well, the Prowler connecting into it. Snakebite at the feet. Kesnit second guessing himself, but now he does look to try and just take charge of the scenario. There's nobody on the side. Open for the taking here for Crew. EG instead opting to just group up now and try and play that full retake.
And this is going to be difficult for Crew to hold on because EG are ready to flood with the Showstopper.
But they want to fight this one at Waterfall. I mean, they're just really trying to force these ults out early, and now they're scattering to the winds! The movement impeded there by the pillar, and Klaus is able to just pluck him out of the air. Still, pressure is being applied by EG on multiple angles and multiple fronts, but they still can't take out the dynamic duo, Kesnit and Heat. These guys are elite. And Derek, it's sharp. He needs a bit more where that came from. Still with a spike drop down at 1v1. 9 bullets left, a quick tap. The movement, 7 left. Wide in the face. And does eventually shut it down. A Red Bull clutch to put that one round on the board.
A savior for Evil Geniuses there, right when they needed it. This map was in danger of flying way out of their control, especially with that slightly beefed, unusual movement from Jorgamo, but Derek steps up, as we've seen from him earlier in the year, on that redemption tour in 2024. He was the player that stepped up for them when they played against Loud earlier on at the beginning of 2024. They need players like him to find those moments.
I spoke about the importance of that round. I mean, listen, the economy isn't exactly in a healthiest spot, but at least EG do have now a fighting chance, and they pulled out that showstopper prior.
Yeah, this also just buys them time to get big ults online, right? Nature, Derek's ults can be very important. They've essentially left the C side completely up to Nature, and it allows them to stack a heavier fighting defense towards A. And Crew have been pretty sensible with their attack side macro, but they haven't also been breaking Apoth's trips unless they're committing to a site. So that's another thing to keep an eye on.
Jorgamo, slightest of off angles, just spots it. Apoth chooses to take the fight, alternating with the movement, and as well, Derek decides to join the action. That's a spike drop down. Pretty deep, will have to be recovered here by Heat, but a Neuro Theft revealing all. Positioning here, still he will pick it up without really too much of a challenge here because the players are low. Jorgamo starting to the open, the trades are not online. It's all just Melzer and Crew covering all of these angles.
That's the Crew firepower. He just decided, no, I think I can win this round. And he bulldozed his way into trade.
Even Derek watched for and managed. They knew that was a possibility. So Nature's the last one left, and he's only got the Spectre as well.
He'd done such a good job of getting himself solidified on C, inside the Viper's pit. But now his chances to try to clean up.
Whoa! Hold up!
They were slim!
1v1, lined it up. And Nature has been gifted here. A chance, possibility. Doesn't know where Melzer's positioning is though, and now he's got to get a move on. You can feel it now. With the time ticking, the spike ticking, and there's Melzer. Exactly the positioning of Nature, who's making all the noise in the world for us. So 5-1, being that scoreline.
Shouldn't have dropped the Spectre. That thing was gifted from God. The double spray down made me believe for sure. But that round. That round typifies everything that I'm struggling to get on board with EG. They have such a good macro on their defense. They stack players towards B and A. They get a crossfire going to set themselves up with an advantage. And unfortunately, Heat just runs at them and kills 2 players, and it's kind of curtains then. Crew just get an easy avenue towards A because their firepower is better.
Yeah, this is the attack side of Lotus, but EG not escaping the slow start allegations.
They've been running this trip at front B, EG, with Derek watching it pretty much the whole time too. Probably expecting Crew to make some kind of effort based on the VODs to go and break that regularly. And Crew have just been like, nah, we'll just walk at you and kill you. They don't seem as bothered with dealing what Apoth has to offer in terms of the info game on defense. Another situation here on the anti-eco where it's a nightfall to try to commit into A and soften up these eco players.
Connects onto 2, nades, rebound. Actually, ult's going to be expended by EG. They want to use this one. So they can take the fight to them. That's a lot of connections. Look at that, the trails scattered about here into Trin. Everybody looking this way, that way. All the noise cues cut away. Lockdown. It's going to be used just on top of this, the next layer of things with 35 seconds left. But EG, do they have any plan to break this one? It looks unlikely. They're going to have to really just back away now, give respect to that one. So it's going to be a free plant. Crew to get themselves into that post plant.
And now they've got Klaus's pit if they would like to invest it. I think their post-plant positioning is going to be good enough, and they're going to feel confident enough not to have to use that ult. But we'll see if it bites them.
CNT, the Horns. Hello, push forwards from Heat. There's a kill.
You don't just want to break that? I guess he was worried about being swarmed, thought he could try to take the timing.
Paranoia as well, next wave of it. Now the Stingers are really doing some damage, and dirty work indeed! Crew still holding on to that control, but it is down just to the 1. Superman, far too much damage done prior, he was too weak. Elza really didn't even need the headshot, but still, it's another one claim, so 6-1 Crew. These rounds coming down to just these minutiae of moments, and a lot of ults committed by EG.
Yeah. Ults committed on both sides, though, so not a disaster for Evil Geniuses. But if you think back to what ended up making them such a great team in 2023, and yes, it's not the same roster, but it's the same coaching staff, the same ideas. It was that they weren't afraid to throw ults into those kind of eco situations and turn things around. Unfortunately, and it, you know, there was some idea that it could have worked there. They had the Nightfall, it caught onto tons of players. I think they invested Superman's ult as well to make it feel like there could be players behind in the midst of those audio cues being taken away. But unfortunately, they're just in too much of a hole here.
Yeah.
EG need the win on this map, in my opinion, because we're about to head into Breeze. And if Crew have those big heavy hitters of Kesnit, of Heat, maybe Shine, some of the others that could step up. Breeze is just one of those maps that lends itself towards the duels. You need to outbrain Crew if you're going to win them on Lotus, but this is new retooled Crew with Klaus at the helm, back trying to prove to everybody that he deserves his spot on this team as a top IGL.
Yeah, I mean, it feels weird to say as well, but you know, with the way that Crew play, talking about it, simple doesn't necessarily mean bad. We're talking about like the kind of calling from Klaus on the attack side. He has very structured ideas of what they want to do. They want to set up Kesnit really well as well. That's another kind of game plan for Crew. And if we go on to Breeze, I mean, if you're just setting up Kesnit and empowering them to take fights all the time, it's a tried and tested strategy, and guess what? It works. Because Crew are winning so far in stage 1.
Not just that, Jorg at the bottom of the scoreboard right now. We saw him with a rough game earlier on in 2024, and it certainly did not help EG. He's that veteran player that EG need to look towards. Superman trying to make it feel like there's a lot of presence over towards C-Mount in an attempt to make this little push from Jorg and Derek a bit more effective. They've got rid of the turret, but they haven't done too much else. The turret being gone, though, is a big deal. It's going to make Crew feel more threatened about a potential push out of B.
Exactly, the uncertainty there. There's a lot of eyes locked onto the front avenue of B, but now they're going to be making their way over towards Klaus, who's got all that space on A.
This EG just threw a haunt over towards Mound and re-cleared that, so I think they should have a good idea that this is ending A for Crew. Jorg is booking his way over here, still full utility. And Crew are not taking space that quickly. Are we finally going to see them pivot B and give Derek some action?
There it is, Derek's forwards. It's a jumping clear by Klaus, but nobody else really to follow through with that one. Satchel! But it's not there with a second one. Derek does incredibly well. Tripped. Isolated and broken. Shy's going to be brought down, eventually wrangling control of the rifle for Superman to claim that kill, Melter!
You can't allow this!
He's pulling it back from the brink. And just like that, when you think it's going so damn well for EG, this kill could be critical! Jorgamo dropped in the spawn. All down to Superman. Cover going out. 1v2, Kesnet with an ult. It just looks unachievable. And Kesnet's just watching for the right angle. Expecting the appropriate position, 7-1.
Listen, you're not going to win if you're EG if you can't win rounds like that.
No.
Because I feel like they played the defense side, the macro, the info game really nicely. They knew it was ending towards A or a pivot through. Derek gets 2 at the door. I think this protocol of sending Superman in with the flash through here, we've seen Sentinels do this, awesome protocol. But then to double face and have Melson kill 2 of you and then out-duel Jorg, I mean...
Can't let that slip.
What kind of player advantage do you need to close out rounds here?
Yeah.
They are getting owned by the Crew skill.
That's what we talked about as the big obstacle. It's what you got to overcome if you want to try and beat a team like Crew.
Hello, Melzer's just having to walk through here. This is dangerous on an anti-eco.
There's a one-way. Superman taking a peek there.
He just remembered that he wants to win this game, so he decided to back up. EG have really been putting a heavy focus on Derek and sometimes Jorg, looking to try to put pressure here at the front of B.
Yeah.
They are so convinced the Crew are going to try to tackle this area and have Shy pressure it. Usually it would be the Killjoy, who walks forwards a little bit, tries to get rid of trips or a turret if you're playing against a Killjoy, something like that. EG's game plan never once has been rewarded. They got rid of a turret 1 round.
Yeah.
Apart from that, they just got the wrong read on what Crew are up to.
Grouped up now, setting sights onto the seaside. Is that a committal? No, okay.
It's a cancel.
Melzer getting cheeky with it. Showstopper forwards, sent to the back, and the shots just don't quite land there. Not from the Sheriffs, but Jorgamo will do a little bit of damage here with a kill collected. He's got to try and play the door, so he survives on that cross. But it's a 2v3 here, and still with that weaponry disadvantage. The pit on top of it, spraying them all down and through. Kesnet 4 in a round claimed, 8-1. This is just, I mean, it's top to bottom. Yeah, brutal.
Brutal, but not just brutal. A phenomenal resurgence from Crew. This was our team that went 0-9 in regular season games. They're now 2-0 and started out with the best beginning you could ask for in another match against EG. This is a revival.
It is.
And the Raze diff could not be larger. We've known that Kez is a great player, but Jorg was outrageously good on Raze last year. And he just can't get going today.
Can't. It's not working for them.
Another round where Derek taking contact in front of the trip at front B, looking for that information, but really just tying up his positioning.
They just very isolated here at the tree position, but he does have some help. The Crew are just breaking a trip, walking up right behind it. The team has taken that, and look, I mean, Jorgamo's not ready for the angle. His gun wasn't facing it.
He doesn't expect them to be this contacted.
He chopped up and crossed up here. Yeah, they just don't expect these players to be in this position, and whatever calls being made by EG, there's just too much hesitancy in play. Not able to really take the fight to them, and they've just dropped.
Yeah, and it's so nice to see from Crew's point of view, these rounds where the attack side ideas that are coming from, I would assume Klaus is the IGL, are the thing that gets them over the line. It's not just the firepower. Like, yeah, that is the big thing that I'm taking away from this map so far, is that Crew are winning any situation that they're put in. But to see them create advantages in rounds like this, where they just contact up, messing with a bit of the pace and the expectations, and EG are caught completely taken aback by it, that's lovely calling.
Yeah, I think they've got that extra element with that, you know, just Klaus at that attack side calling it. works so well to all the strengths of Crew. I mean, it might be too early to say. Listen, you can make the argument as well. The Crew haven't really been tested so far in Split 1, but really, what is the ceiling for this team so far? They're 9-1 against an EG team. Dishing them out. I mean, dealing with almost every single obstacle that's been propped up and thrown up here. And look at this. I mean, you're talking about the pause in the round with Klaus just getting up ahead of the angle before the EG players are even expecting it. They play a crossfire as well when EG are trying to refight them, trying to get proactive.
Yeah, and they're using that Viper Orb completely against EG. They get on the other side of it. So any player on the A side has to then worry about being peeked from the stairs angle as well as the normal walk-up from Rubble. EG are getting kind of owned here. Apoth with no armor is going to try to defend C on his own. But an early round where Crew, listen, they don't need to do anything crazy.
Want to go for this one here. The rocket flying. Oh, but just only a smidge of damage is what it feels in the counter spell. That's Chocobo.
If that isn't a single round to sum up the entire game so far for Jorg, I don't know what it is. That just tells the whole story. Crew are so aware of that kind of stuff. You know, they're not running into a Rubble fight.
I want to have the showstopper, yeah.
All right, Nightfall used on the other side just to try to get some information. Maybe this is going to help them defend B.
Nice from Apoth here. It's repositioning now, pressing forwards. Holding with a double-up angle. The Crew using this chance. Reposition. Nice and quick. Still, actually, a peek from behind there. It's Apoth and Superman as well taking his own fight. It's just flanks on flanks. I think caution to the win seems to be the game plan of EG, and maybe that's what it takes. Thrown Crew for a loop, hasn't it? They don't even realize that Derek could be there, but as the door closes in his face, so do the opportunities. Nature creeping and crawling right behind them. No one's watching. And here it is, time to collect. Real chance and opportunity, but eventually they double up. And again, Crew are boundless. Leaping through into the site. The plant finally down for them into this post plant. Another 2 versus 2 scenario. Oh, missing.
Not where that one was supposed to go, but the Snakebite's still going to hold back EG for the moment. Superman has 2 teleports. Fakes it.
I think he could have crossed in. Not much to clear this one either. Okay, Shy. Backing away here, doubled up with the face. Can he adjust the aim in time? Klaus wrapping around an ace. The potential is there. Doesn't quite know where the last player is, but now here's the noise and Superman is just left clueless. My power ace. All for Klaus here, the IGL.
Last round before the switch.
Superman was looking on top of his own one-way there, thinking that Klaus had somehow jumped over his head and gotten inside of it. The Odin cleaning things up as EG. Bren, you're completely right. The call here is just throw caution to the wind. It's like, all right, our game plan isn't working. Let's just run at them.
Yeah.
Play inside smokes, try to find your wands, mess with the timings. 10-1. I mean, 1 and 10 is better than Crew did last year, but now things are completely flipped.
I mean, they really are. EG have got any chances. It's got to be in this round here, the final one.
Same kind of defensive setup that we saw last time Nature had his ult online. Get him with a trip, ulted on C, tried to stack towards B and A. Shy, very rarely been here early round.
No punish.
They've been waiting to punish him the whole side. Yeah. Derek has been here trying to wait for that play, and they do it in round 12.
Backing away with the util in his hands. They can't quite get it. In fact, all the damage has really been done to these EG players. Exchange the weapons. Kesnet, the operator. Paranoia peeking. Out wide. That will force out his Nightfall here. Still 55 seconds left in the round. Opportunities for Crew if they do want to take it towards C or B, or even just look for these fights. Straight up! Apoth! He's pulled that one from the brink and nowhere. 3 kills. 11 health. 1 bullet will do it, but now only 2 left alive here for Crew. Repositioning now. This is a round you must win if you are EG.
30 seconds left.
And the rest.
Of course. Contacting through, bit of a team flash. I'll also be apologizing for that one a bit later now, but they are going to get a move on.
They've given them the whole of B here. EG are just allowing them to get the plant down, not in position to flood. Hello, I love this ult from Superman, doubling up with Nature.
Well, Melzer just got off the plant there, and it has brought a bit more time here for EG to just try and take these fights. And Superman, he was a bit of ahead of the rest of his team, but now, eventually, swarming the objective. A second round here for EG. The real big question is, will it be enough against a team like Crew? Listen, EG will be going onto the attack side of Lotus, but really, realistically, Crew have probably done enough.
Yeah, it's EG's map pick. And the final round, though amazing as that is from APOF, it feels like a bit of a consolation prize.
Yeah.
They would have to pull off a most outrageous comeback to have any chance of pushing this one.
Crew been hitting order, check boxes, Crew's IG out Klaus, and we learned about why he's been looking forward to today's matchup with Evil Geniuses.
Yo siento que EG es un equipo bastante parecido como nosotros. Su planteamiento de juego es bastante agresivo como el nuestro. Y nada, va a estar bueno porque va a ser como quién va a ser más agresivo que el otro. Y nada, quién va a imponer su ritmo, se va a definir en ese partido. O sea, los dos vamos a estar como acelerando cada vez más para imponer nuestro ritmo y va a ser bastante divertido, yo creo. Creo que son un buen equipo.
So respect being shown, Klaus saying he thinks EG are a good team, which they've shown those glimpses of brilliance, I think, in a lot of their matches. But maybe that's why, Crew feels like they're not pulling back any punches.
Yeah, Crew look excellent. I think it's so difficult in a season to fix mentality problems or just fix large problems, to be honest. It can feel overwhelming to try to tackle them all at once. But if you get a bit of a reset and get some fresh blood into the team as well, which he has given them, then suddenly mentality can shift. It can feel like your horizons are shifting too, and the more you win, the more freedom you have to try to make plays. Adam's got to be feeling excellent about how his team's performing right now.
Oh, yeah.
I am a little bit concerned, though, if we flip things the other way, to the fact that Jorg is having such a stinker. He's 2-12. We've seen him, kind of whiff on both showstoppers that he had in that half. One because of his own beef movement, as far as we could tell looking at things from our point of view, and the other just because Crew had anticipated it perfectly. And this is a little reminiscent of what happened in EG's game against G2, where he couldn't get online. And listen, again, I'm thinking forward to Breeze. To be honest with you, the score's 10-2. Yes, I'm thinking about map 2. Jorgamo is their guy to go around and duel people.
He's got to go
head to head
with a player like Kesnit on the opposite side. But I mean, you might have seen glimpses of it. It's 2-12 versus what, 17-5 that Kesnit's currently sitting at?
Yeah. And to be honest with you, it's not actually just Kesnit and Heat up there. Heat's 8-8. He's had some awesome rounds. The pistol, along with another that kind of helped Crew get on board. But, we've seen enormous stuff like the ace from Klaus and the 1v2 from Melzer that put them into perfect positions. To say that EG need this would be an understatement and perhaps just stupid to even mention.
Well, it's got to start here and now with the pistol round, hasn't it? So
the cam to make sure that Crew are not going for anything aggressive. And the rest of EG grouping up towards B.
It's an open side. Well, APOF decided to take a fight, and well, there's a whole army waiting for him on the opposite side. Crew are going to be fast on this one. It's a rapid uptake of the little door area. Now a deep push into the spawn. Shy, he's seen it. Open angles here. Just awareness off the charts here for Crew, expecting some form of aggression. Sees, not quite connecting, almost lining up with the classic bullets. 2 left to stand. Trying to defend against this one. Derek feeling the pressure, feeling like he has to take the fight straight to them. Oh, Superman, hello! Wait a second. This is a case of salvaging it, picking up those pieces here and now. Kesnit is low enough that a single shot of any gun will do it. A swift breeze, maybe even so. Tapping on the orb, trying to force the fight open, but now that gets the acknowledgement. This is a 1-pistol round for EG, at least the beginning of the potential start of a comeback. Listen, we'll say it. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
Now, I'm confused how Superman was able to get 2 off screen while we were watching Derek, and Derek played his 1v1 really nicely over there towards Waterfall, but I'm confused how Superman with a classic was able to take out the other 2 players. Oh, wow. There it is. So they're trying to go for a jump through the smoke and somebody else swinging, but as we saw yesterday, actually, when we were covering Sentinels, the team that's in the lead getting a little sloppy with things, not jumping the player through before the other player swings. They caught the A lurker at the beginning of the round. It was APOF this time. It's going to be Nature. So Crew are stacking towards A, hoping for a similar result to get them into a 5v4 on an eco. But EG, they need to start some kind of snowball of their own, feeding the orbs into Jorg. And he also needs, I think, a lot of kills here. They need a big ultimate to start anything going.
Big ultimate and some confidence wouldn't go amiss. something to offset the scoreboard differential that we're seeing. They might want to go into C here, but that might be a mistake. You can see a crew have already just been following those sound cues, and it's a heavy stack now with 4 players over towards C. All that noise that was made earlier.
Oh, it's giving Carmen Core.
Yeah, it really is. Jorg, slow and steady, but there are plenty of players watching this cross. Now they're going to send out that util snake bite. It's a season 8.
Nice.
Quite nice to collect that one.
And I think they've realized that this is a stack. If you kill Kesnit here, that kind of indicates that there's a lot of players on this side. It's normally not going to be
30 seconds left.
the Raze player that's defending that area. It's normally going to be the Killjoy and the Viper, or the Omen and the Viper, something like that.
20 seconds left. They're going to make their moves over towards A. Nature didn't throw away his life here. Was it slowly and steadily grabbing control of the A rubble area? So they're going to be able to get themselves into that post plan here.
And this is looking clean. Yeah. So now comes the question of, you know, looking towards the ultimates. Can you build those up? And I think, listen, I think you go and just ask Jorg to go and chase him down. You just wait a little bit, see if crew are doing anything that looks like a serious retake. And after a few seconds and the Haunt doesn't see anything, you're like, all right, Jorg, go kill them all.
And look at the diligence even from crew on their eco here. The
Yeah,
players set up in, you know, tucked positions, just jiggling these corners for info. This is them just trying to die to the spike.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not letting anything slip.
But also EG not going and hunting, which I think is a mistake. I think not only is it going to help you build up some confidence if you actually go and just get your stats looking a bit better. I'm not saying the players are scoreboard Stevens, but at the you know, everyone likes number go up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's all right, EG just play as safe as you could possibly want. It doesn't really help their big picture.
They're pretty far away from a lot of those crucial elements, but they do navigate this round nicely. The next big test is going to be this one, isn't it? On a bonus round, they keep it nice and healthy, but they don't exactly have rifles up against crew.
Yeah, if you've got some kind of pocket strategy that Potter has cooked up, now is the time to fling it.
Yeah. So it begins here. In terms of early util has been thrown out, just that orb and walking up behind it. It's what Nature made the round feel like prior. It's picking up his orb now. This position. Out open. That's a Paranoid. It's just comboed up there with the swing of the guns. It's a nice little play that has been cooked up. Melzer, feeling like he has to offload that Paranoia, making sure that he blinds. It's an open angle and real chances here for Melzer to do some damage, but not expecting Nature to be that close in his face. Still, now they're skipping and hopping, getting themselves towards that A side closer. Jorgamo needs to be dealt with here, which crew are doubling up, but they seem to have lost the awareness. Yeah, just disjointed, really. Satchel, a little bit too far away to set him up nicely for that one, but A-Bot doesn't even find the kill on the flank.
We can't lose this one for EG.
Don't let it slip.
Bring them down.
They're in these positions here. Tripled up now. Out towards Tree. Nice by Nature. That's eagerness here to get the confidence back and take those fights to them. Heat. Recognition now settling in. I think that he has to really just back away and save this one. Play for the exits if real possible. But honestly, with the money in the bank for EG, it wouldn't even do too much damage.
And I don't think this round was particularly EG coming up with some great strategy that they pulled from the playbook.
Yeah.
I think crew are getting a bit complacent, looking to close out the game. Kesnit's positioning, he opened himself up to both sides of rubble at the same time and was just like, yeah, I'll flick him. Like, what is that game plan? And then the other players from crew kind of trickled in, not appreciating the fact that EG were going to have taken that space. You can see it here on the replay. Kesnit is not even playing inside the breakable door and getting caught by a really nice set play. It's a cool idea from EG to like swoop peek and have the paranoia off it and stuff like that, but Kesnit's believing in his own ascension as a deity.
Yeah, nah, I'd win. We've seen how that goes.
Where are you?
Still, monumental lead here for crew. It's all about not letting it slip, but this is an eco round for them, so they are taking liberties. Look at that amount of space they've got over towards C Mound. I mean, they have just fully pushed up. Shy.
No paranoia here for Melzer, though, so if they open door and try to fight B, they don't have that big blind.
Clear this one here together. With the util that's used, Jorgo now Really trying to make the most. Hello, you've been pushed forwards by the door. Out into the open, and Heat, of course, he takes a bit of a gander. Another peek of that one here with the rifle. No way! Not like this. And Crew are running them down, Nature. So much to tackle here. It's this double setup. I mean, Heat is going to be so quick to swing. As soon as Shy takes that contact, first kill is there. There it is, the follow-up before in the round. Heat blinding them with his brilliance.
And that all cascades off the back of the way that Heat is able to take a fight against Jorgamo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not how you draw up the mound crunch in your scrims. Jorg does a great job of being able to capitalize onto these two players, but as soon as Heat is freed up, then he's able to go and capitalize and support Shy. If Jorg either gets the kill or doesn't commit to it, or the rest of his team are faster to be able to put pressure on Shy, none of that falls to pieces, but it's writ large on Potter's face.
Yeah.
On her reaction. This is a catastrophe for EG.
Those are the rounds you can't let slip. You just can't. You wouldn't have any chance of a comeback happening here. You know, interestingly enough, this is Crew taking the timeout as well. Off the back of that, probably, you know, queued up during the half-buy round.
Yeah, to be honest, I think Crew are playing a little sloppy. Not on the eco. Okay, it's an eco. You're allowed to go and do that kind of stuff. But the round before, yeah, they do need to respect EG a little just to close this out. But I think LATAM will have pressed the timeout button before he realized that they were winning that round.
They were winning, yeah. I think so too. I think he's queued this one up, ready to just give them an earful.
Yeah, and now he's like
being like, guys, what the hell are we doing? Oh, we won! Okay, hold on.
Just keep doing what you're doing, boys.
Yeah, just keep it up. But they do need to close it out. Can't let too many opportunities slip away here, but for EG, they put the focus back on them. They're going to be kicking themselves.
Yeah, because as many good ideas as EG clearly have in their best moments, they're just making far more mistakes.
Yeah.
Early alarm bot and a Prowler to put a bit of pressure on the Apop and set this up.
Whoa, Apop trying to just run forward to take the fight to them. Showstopper right into the sky. Jorgamo seeking to even out the engagement, but he's still a player down for the team. EG. 3 left to stand here. See what they can do with the round.
That's a good reaction from Shy. He pops his nanoswarms at the front of C to buy time for Heat to come in and reinforce that site. Kesnit and Shy both stay B, anticipating a pivot. Crew have a player advantage. And it's still pretty comfortable playing the defense with 4 players spread like this.
Yeah, not just that. I mean, the deep alarm bot that Shy has.
Yeah.
It's going to give them a really early indicator if they work towards B.
And Turret taking C contact. The fact that Shy's alive here makes a huge difference. All right, Jorg spotted it.
Jump spots, Shy.
The spike's not committed.
So the door's going to be opening up. Now looks like they want to make a move. Out onto C, but it's still looking at util here to seize. It's a nade! Collapsing collided on either side, actually. Just a handshake through mid-air. Now the guns are going to do the rest of the busy work, and it is getting messy. It is getting scrappy. Can Nature prevail? Only 13 seconds left into this round, and he's got so much to deal with. Kesnit. Firepower. The prowess just flexing on him.
Match point.
Crew get up to 12. Even in these kind of rounds, you can see the Crew have great ideas. We've seen other teams run that same kind of thing. I feel like I've seen it actually happen to Apop as well, where he was able to cage and just run forward to dodge the ult. But this time, Kesnit good for it, and up to 23 kills.
God almighty. Yeah, he's on an absolute heater.
He's almost got 3x Jorg's kills.
And it is, I mean, that's the game plan of Crew, really. In a nutshell, it's just empowering Kesnit to take those fights. Take those fights, have him be the spearhead, setting him up with the util. It's a real simple game plan from them, with Klaus's calling as a, you know, real combination. It's a 1-2 punch that's really difficult. I think it tests some of these teams like EG, where they haven't quite got those fundamentals drilled as such.
And also, I think just the firepower. There are times where EG have got into nice positions and then they've just been overpowered.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been impressed with what LATAM has drilled into Crew over time. It's taken a long time. but a lot of the plays that we're seeing from other top teams, we're now seeing from Crew as well. At LCQ last year, they even showed us some novel stuff on Lotus. They were showing us like a one-way smoke over towards Rubble that allowed them to retake A control, that kind of thing. And they're sat pretty here on map 1. It was EG's map pick, but it's never been them in control. Not once has it felt like Crew were in trouble.
Now they find themselves one round away from taking that opening map, heading over towards Breeze, which really does feel like the home ground territory for a team like Crew. Crowds on the side of EG. Let's see if they can really pull up the old bootstraps. An impossible task, but we won't dive into the etymology of the phrase.
Some kind of explosive hit into C to set the Viper's pin up. Maybe that's just what the Doctor would order. But Crew already, as they lose Mound, going forwards and taking B control. That would allow them to open this door and scrap over Mound. If Klaus gets committed into, they can even do this with the Nightfall.
Oh, Klaus! Anticipating and predicting just a few bullets doing the job there. Wow, look at that. I mean, such a triple face of Crew. Lucky to be alive, everyone! Been picked apart on the EG side. They are running out of options desperately now.
Great identification from Crew that they were running that 3-1-1 default. Didn't overstep into APOF.
Now all the noise being made here to Paranoia. Going flying, he's got backup and he's got help here. Still, Derek's just gonna run him down with the rifle in his hand. Superman still down. Adjustment of Shy. Derek, 1v2 to stay alive in the map.
30 seconds left.
He was there for them earlier. But this is even tougher.
Shy's playing this one so patiently as well, just tucked, but now with the Prowler spotting him. It's a slide-off angle to seal that one up. Nice and pretty for Crew. Overwhelming. That's what you call that kind of scoreline here. Now, of course, the series isn't over yet, but I mean, Crew are going to be feeling so damn good about that.
It must feel amazing for a team that went onto stage so many times and every time bit into that bitter fruit of dissatisfaction. And for the diehard fans here who've just been turning out for every Crew game, knowing that loss and seeing them perform so well. Yeah, they haven't won the series yet, but they have looked dominant on EG's map pick. And already a great start to the season.
If you could really, in simplistic terms, boil it down to the gunfights, the duels, that firepower differential, now you're heading into a map of Breeze, which is really just known for that.
Yeah.
It's known for just letting the duelist players really flex the muscles.
Yeah, if there's going to be a map where Kesnit's able to run around, supported by the rest of his team, and take an aggressive fight, it is. It's Breeze.
It'll be that one.
I think the macro calling here on Lotus, it looks really, really strong. And now we just get to watch the fireworks display.
Impeccable opening from Crew to begin, but of course map 2 still up and coming. We'll see you in just a few.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a picture of us?
Oh, no problem.
Thanks.
Ooh, yes, problem. You need Verizon. Trade in that old thing and get a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage, so you can take all the pics. So many selfies.
A preposterous amount of panos!
That means panoramic.
And as many portraits of me as your heart desires.
How about none?
None, yeah, none feels right.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition and get iPhone 15 Pro on us. Only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.